Well, that very first property I bought, I had a squatter right away, right after I bought it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they stole like all the copper and I was just like, great, what did I do? I just bought this property 2,000 miles away. And it goes back to having a really good property manager. And they were like, no worries. We got in there, we removed them, we know what to do. Again, buying in a landlord-friendly state where you can remove squatters and they were like, yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. You're going to have to replace, the furnace piping or whatever it was. And they took care of it for me. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to do the bids. Again, they handled it. And then they said, we're going to, send somebody over to make sure this doesn't happen again. We notified all the neighbors to keep an eye on the property for us. Like they just went out of their way to handle it for me. And then they're like, hey, we got a new renter. So it was just kind of like, okay, I got over that storm. I got over that hump, and that renter stayed for 8 years. And so again, it's also being creative with your property manager. And when there is a problem, like, don't just settle for what they're saying. Be like, okay, like think with them. Like you have to think with them. I was like, okay, how can we make sure this doesn't happen again? How can we button it down? I was kind of asking them these questions, not just letting them handle it. Because that's the other thing too, is a lot of people think, turnkey, like I can literally just take a nap and fall asleep for 10 years. No, you have to put on your thinking cap and think and strategize with your property manager. Sometimes you might come up with an idea that they didn't think of, and they've given me brilliant ideas with buying extra insurance policies and different things, So really asking them the questions again, like getting into them and going like, "Hey, give me the secret stuff." I want to know the insider stuff. What's going on behind the scenes?